Student. Today we are going to see our writing section, and in that section, in our last video, we see the information about the expansion of idea, that is which things are necessary or what is the steps for the expansion of idea. And now in this today's video we are going to see our writing topic, the last writing topic, that is the art of comparing. What is meant by comparing? That is, comparing means anchoring, hosting, or it is also called the public speaking. That is, if there is any program and uh, throughout the comparing we just giving the information about what is in that program, or at first we give introductory speech, then there are so many events of that programs, we just linking that events through our speaking, and it is called the comparing, or it is called the anchoring. There are so many on TV programs we watching so many anchors. Uh, if we take some example, then we all we know about the Karan Johar, about Kapil Sharma, about, if you are watching the Marathi program, then Chala Haudya Fame, Nilesh Sabre, they anchor very well. They comparing their program very well, and in our school also, in our colleges also, if there are some programs, then our teacher, our student representative, they just comparing that program and which things are necessary for comparing. Let us see what is the necessities, or which qualities are necessary for a compare, which qualities are necessary for an anchor, or there are some prerequisites of comparing, there are some necessary things for comparing. We are going to see these things throughout your point or throughout your textbook. So let us see the art of comparing. There are some essential qualities of a anchor. The first quality is in-depth knowledge. Means a compare, you who must have the in-depth knowledge of that program, of that event, or he is very well educated, he is very well, means he knowing all the things which is related to that program. So that person have in-depth knowledge, means that person must be well educated, that person must be knowledgeable about each and everything in that program. So that person should have in-depth knowledge. Then second one is confidence. Those who comparing the program, that compare, that person have the confidence, he must have the confidence की एक प्रकारे आत्मविश्वास पाहिजे त्याला. Whatever he is going to speak, in his speaking there must be the confidence. Then the third one is sense of humor in between the events. There must be some jokes, there must be some quotes, and sense of humor. That anchor must have the sense of humor also. You watches the program of Kapil Sharma, you watches the program of Nilesh Sabre, and in that programming we come to know that these persons have the sense of humor, they create humor, we laugh when they speak, or when they joking, at that time we going to laugh. So they must have the sense of humor. Then the next quality is presence of mind. Means these persons must have the presence of mind, that is which things have to say or which things have not to say. This is the presence of mind. Or sometimes some honorable guest coming on the stage, at that time you must have the sense of presence of mind, you must introduce that guest, you must felicitate, you must say to felicitate that guest. So this is the presence of mind. Or if there is some uh, weaknesses. You just wind up all such weaknesses throughout your program. So presence of mind is very much necessary for that anchor, for that compare. Then appropriate body language. The person who is comparing, the person who is the anchor, he must have the appropriate body language. That is, his gestures, his facial expressions should be appropriate, or his dress should be the neat and nice dress for that program. So appropriate body language is also one of the essential factor. So let us see precautions to be taken, which when you comparing any program, at that time which precautions you are going to be taken. Let us see that precaution. While comparing, always keep in mind the audience. When you are comparing any program, that time you must कीप इन माइंड द ऑडियन्स, की तुमच्या मनामध्ये तुमच्यासमोर जो प्रेक्षक वर्ग बसलेला आहे तर त्यांचा विचार सतत तुमच्या मनामध्ये पाहिजे. ऑलवेज कीप इन माइंड द ऑडियन्स. द सेकंड वन, प्रिपेअर वेल बिफोर द इव्हेंट. मस्ट नो द नेम ऑफ ऑर्गनायझर, गेस्ट, ऑफिस bearers, and there should not be any incorrect or false information given by the anchor. That is, prepare well before you anchor any program. You should know very well the officer name, you should know the guest name, the designation of that guest, the information about that guest, the information about that president of that program, and you should not give any false or incorrect इन्फॉर्मेशन. की ज्या वेळेस आपण कॉम्पेरिंग करत आहोत त्यावेळेस आपल्याला त्या प्रोग्राममध्ये जे कोणी गेस्ट येणार आहेत, जे कोणी अध्यक्ष आहेत, त्यांच्याबद्दल आपल्याला सगळी माहिती पाहिजे. यू शुड नॉट गिव्ह एनी फॉल्स इन्फॉर्मेशन. द क्लॉथ अँड बॉडी लँग्वेज शुड बी ॲप्रोप्रिएट. द अँकर शुड विअर प्रॉपर क्लॉथ, should wear formal cloth for his comparing, and the body language should be appropriate. The next, do not forget to introduce yourself. That is, when you comparing any program, at that time, at first you introduce yourself. You must tell your name, your work, but do not draw all the attention to yourself. But you should not draw all the attention to yourself. की फक्त तुमच्याचबद्दल सगळं सांगत जाणार का? नाही. तुमच्यावरच लक्ष केंद्रित करणार का? तर नाही. If there are mistakes, you must apologize immediately. If you have committed any mistake while comparing, while anchoring, that time you should apologize immediately. की तुमच्याकडून जर काही चूक झाली तर तुम्ही काय करणार आहात? पटकन काय करणार आहात? माफी मागणार आहात. Let us see the art of comparing, page number 123. The person who compares a show introduce the program, and the participant is called as the master of ceremony, abbreviated as MC or EMC, or the compare, anchor, announcer, and microphone controller. द पर्सन हू कॉम्पेअर्स अ शो, की एखादी व्यक्ती की जी अँकरिंग करते, जी कॉम्पेअरिंग करते, इंट्रोड्यूस द प्रोग्राम, की ती संपूर्ण प्रोग्रामचं इंट्रोडक्शन देते आपल्याला, अँड द पार्टिसिपंट्स विच इफ द प्रोग्राम इज द रियालिटी शोज, then there are so many participants. If the program is based on the dance reality show, singing reality show, that time so many participants are taking part in that program. So a compare who introduce the program, who introduce the participant, and this those who comparing a program, that person is called the master of ceremonies. त्या व्यक्तीला, त्या कॉम्पेरिंग करणाऱ्या व्यक्तीला काय म्हटलं जातं? मास्टर ऑफ सेरेमनीज, ॲब्रिवेटेड ॲज MC और EMC, की संक्षिप्त रूपामध्ये आपण काय म्हणणार? तर MC किंवा EMC असं म्हटलं जातं त्याला. MC मीन्स मास्टर ऑफ सेरेमनी, और द कॉम्पेअर, अँकर, अनाउन्सर, अँड मायक्रोफोन कंट्रोलर, की त्याला काय काय म्हटलं जातं, कॉम्पेअर म्हटलं जातं, अँकर म्हटलं जातं, मायक्रोफोन कंट्रोलर म्हटलं जातं आणि इट ऑल्सो कॉल्ड ॲन अनाउन्सर. ही इज अ मेडिएटर, announcer and coordinator of the event. And what work he did, that he is the mediator of that program, की तो मध्यस्थ असतो. त्यानंतर अनाउन्सर असतो, अनाउन्सिंग केलं जातं त्याच्याकडून, वेगवेगळ्या इव्हेंटचं अनाउन्सिंग करण्याचं काम करतो. अँड कोऑर्डिनेटर ऑफ द इव्हेंट, देर आर सो मेनी इव्हेंट्स अँड ही जस्ट कोऑर्डिनेट all such events. The master of ceremony is an apt description of the anchor, as she is formal host and felicitator of the event. Master of ceremony is the apt description, की त्या पूर्ण प्रोग्रामचा तो मास्टर असतो, त्याच्या हातात सगळं होल्ड असतं आणि दॅट्स वाय he is called or she is called the master of ceremony. It is very much apt description for the anchor, and he is the formal host and felicitator of the इव्हेंट, की तो एक प्रकारे फॉर्मल होस्ट असतो, की औपचारिक यजमान असतो तो त्या कार्यक्रमाचा, की तो सगळी आखणी करत असतो की व्हॉट इज गोइंग टू बी नेक्स्ट, की पुढे काय होणार आहे हे तो सांगत असतो. सो दॅट्स वाय ही इज द फॉर्मल होस्ट अँड द फेलिसिटेटर ऑफ द इव्हेंट. आणि काय फेलिसिटेटर मीन्स संयोजक, की ही इज ऑल्सो फेलिसिटेटर ऑफ दॅट event. There can be a wide range of events, and if there can be a wide range of events, right from highly formal ones like seminars or conferences to informal ones like annual gathering, freshers parties or weddings. Ki sometimes there are formal programs like conference, like seminars, and there are sometimes informal programs, that is annual gathering, fresher parties or wedding parties. At that time the host who is introducing the guest, who is the host of that program, who is the felicitator of that program, who is the mediator of that program, who is the announcer of that program, and who is also coordinator of the event. So this is the role of the compere, this is the role of the anchor. The role of the MC is to warm up the crowd and give them an idea about the program ahead. And what is the role of the MC? What is the role of the master of ceremony? What is the role of the compere? That is to warm up the crowd, की क्राऊडला काय करणे, सतत उत्तेजना देणे, की सतत त्यांना सतत आपण काय करायला पाहिजे, तर वॉर्मिंग अप करायला पाहिजे, सतत त्यांना जागृत ठेवायला पाहिजे. पुढे काय होणार आहे, पुढे काय होणार आहे याची उत्सुकता कोण लावून देतं, तर कॉम्पेअर लावून देतो. अँड गिव्ह देम ॲन आयडिया अबाउट द प्रोग्राम अहेड, की पुढे काय होणार आहे याबद्दलची आयडिया त्यांना दिली जाते. ही शी इज देअर टू ग्लोरिफाय द परफॉर्मन्स ऑफ ऑल द परफॉर्मन्स विथ his her appropriate possessive comments and appreciation. And when a compere presented the program, or compere presented his comparing, anchoring, at that time glorify the performance of all the performance, की एक अँकर तो काय करत असतो, तर त्याच्या परफॉर्मन्समधून तो इतरांना उत्तेजना देत असतो. जर इतर पार्टिसिपंट असतील, जर इतर परफॉर्मन्स करणारे लोक असतील, तर त्यांना तो काय करत असतो, बूस्टअप करत असतो, चीअरअप करत असतो विथ हिज हर ॲप्रोप्रिएट पॉझिटिव्ह कमेंट्स, की त्याच्या ॲप्रोप्रिएट आणि पॉझिटिव्ह कमेंट्सनी ही जस्ट चीअर अप दॅट परफॉर्मर्स, ही जस्ट बूस्ट अप दॅट परफॉर्मर्स, अँड he gives positive comments and appreciation. And hence it is the unsaid role to ensure enthusiasm among the viewers with active response in the form of applause. And it is his unsaid role, की त्याचा असा एक रोल असतो तिथे, की त्याचा एक विशिष्ट असा रोल असतो टू एन्श्युअर एन्थुझियाझम अमॉंग द व्हीवर्स, की जो ऑडियन्स बसलेला आहे, जे व्हीवर्स बसलेले आहेत त्यांच्यामध्ये एक प्रकारे उत्सुकता निर्माण करणे विथ ॲक्टिव्ह रिस्पॉन्स, की एक प्रकारचा ॲक्टिव्ह प्रतिसाद घेणे, की त्यांना विथ ॲक्टिव्ह रिस्पॉन्स इन द फॉर्म ऑफ ॲप्लॉज, की त्यांना टाळ्या वाजवायला लावणे, त्यांना सतत उत्तेजना देत राहणे किंवा त्यांना त्या प्रोग्रामकडे खेचून आणणे, अशा पद्धतीचा रोल हा कॉम्पेअरचा असतो. ही हॅज टू मेक शुअर दॅट देर आर स्मूथ ट्रान्झिशन बिटवीन डिफरंट सेगमेंट्स ऑफ द प्रोग्राम अँड ही जस्ट having coordination with in that program, and he also tells the audience about the different segments of that programs, की वेगवेगळे जे सेगमेंट्स आहेत तर त्याबद्दल तो सांगत असतो. इन फॅक्ट ही हॅज टू मास्टर द स्किल ऑफ स्ट्रिंगिंग विविंग द होल इव्हेंट इन वन आर्टिस्टिक थ्रेड. ही इज द मास्टर ऑफ स्ट्रिंगिंग ऑर विविंग, की तो काय तर माळ गुंफण्याचं काम करत असतो, की वेगवेगळे जे इव्हेंट्स आहेत ते एकसंधपणे गुंफण्याचं काम करत असतो. स्ट्रिंगिंग विविंग द होल इव्हेंट्स इन वन आर्टिस्टिक थ्रेड, की एकाच कल्पकतेच्या दोऱ्यामध्ये ही जस्ट विविंग ऑर स्ट्रिंगिंग द होल इव्हेंट्स ऑफ दॅट प्रोग्राम, की त्या प्रोग्राममध्ये जे वेगवेगळे इव्हेंट्स होत आहेत तर ही जस्ट विविंग ऑर स्ट्रिंगिंग द होल इव्हेंट्स इन द आर्टिस्टिक थ्रेड, की त्या एकाच कल्पकतेच्या दोऱ्यामध्ये तो सगळ्या गोष्टी गुंफत असतो. ॲट द सेम टाईम शुड दॅर बी एनी हिकअप्स the MC still has to ensure the smooth movements of the program. He just with his anchoring, he just coordinate the program, he just weaving all the events very much smoothly, he just weaving all the incidents very smoothly, and he having the coordination between the events, he having the coordination between the guest, between the audience, between the viewers, and he is the master of the ceremony. Ultimately, her presence on the stage should exhibit spontaneity, originality, and geniusness. And ultimately, what we say at the end, what we say that the performance of the compere is the performance of the compere on the stage should be exhibit spontaneity, की त्याच्या परफॉर्मन्समध्ये स्पॉन्टॅनिटी असायला हवी, उत्स्फूर्तता असायला हवी. ओरिजिनॅलिटी, की एक प्रकारचं ओरिजिनॅलिटी म्हणजे ओरिजिनल त्याचं काय पाहिजे तर क्लेव्हरनेस पाहिजे तिथे, ओरिजिनॅलिटी. अँड जिनियसनेस म्हणजे काय तर एक प्रकारे कल्पकता त्याच्या बोलण्यामध्ये, त्याच्या जे कॉम्पेरिंगचं स्क्रिप्ट आहे त्यामध्ये असायला हवी. द वर्ड्स ऑफ द स्पीकर शुड कोरिओग्राफ हिज हर बॉडी लँग्वेज टू कॅरी हिम थ्रू द प्रोग्राम विथ ईज, ग्रेस, एलिजन्स अँड confidence. And the body language of the compere is very much important, and throughout his body language he must showing that his speech is very much ease, very much grace, elegance. His look should be the elegance, there should be confidence in his speech, and he must coordinate each and every event of that program. की एक प्रकारचा तो जो कॉम्पेअर आहे तर त्याच्या बोलण्यावरून प्रेक्षकांना पुढचा प्रोग्राम काय आहे त्याबद्दल माहिती मिळत जाते, किंवा त्यांना उत्सुकता लागते की पुढे काय होणार आहे. की एक प्रकारचं ग्रेस, एलिजन्स, कॉन्फिडन्स, त्याची बॉडी लँग्वेज, त्याचे कॉस्ट्युम्स हे सगळे प्रॉपर आणि नीट जर असतील तर देन द प्रोग्राम विल बी व्हेरी मच appreciated by the viewers. The comparing should be very much appreciated by the audience, आणि comparing सुद्धा काय केलं जातं तर appreciate केलं जातं. Let us see, now we have ascertain what the role of the MC is. Here are some insights. That is, what is the role of the MC? What should we have to do for doing our comparing, a better comparing? की आपलं comparing आपल्याला चांगलं करायचं आहे तर आपल्याला which things are necessary for doing our comparing, best comparing or better comparing? So let us see. The first, practice better in front of the mirror. If you want to compare any program, at that time you should practice, and you should having practice in front of the mirror. That is how you speak, how you what is your body language, what is your facial expression at that time, so you should having practice in front of the mirror. Second, be well prepared and word perfect to innovate and add spontaneous expression confidently on the stage. That is, be well prepared. You must prepare for your comparing, you must doing the practice, and word perfect to innovate or add spontaneous expression. There should be your word should be perfect word, you should use perfect word, you should use quotations, you should use phrases, you should use some musical lines in your comparing, and expression confidently on stage. There should be confidence in yourself की तुमच्यामध्ये काय पाहिजे, कॉन्फिडन्स पाहिजे. थर्ड, डेव्हलप अ स्क्रिप्ट. यू शुड राईट neat script when you comparing your program. You must develop a script. Then dress up appropriately for the event. Your dress should be appropriate for the event. Fifth one, remember that you are not the star of the show, but introduce yourself. And remember that you are not the star of the show, but you must at first you introduce yourself, and then you introduce the whole program, then you introduce the guest, then you introduce the participants. So you must keep in mind that you are not the star, but introduce yourself. Breathe steadily and deeply when you are speaking. At that time, breathe steadily and deeply. That is, you should not make any haste while speaking. की तुम्ही बोलताना कुठल्याही प्रकारची घाई करणार नाही आहेत. Address the audience with smile, suitable expression, voice modulation, and maintain eye contact. That is, when you speak with the audience, at that time there should be smile on your face. That is, there should be light smile on your face. Then suitable expressions should be there. When you speak, at that time there should be voice modulation, and maintain eye contact with the audience, maintain eye contact with the guest. The next, bring pace to your delivery. That is, there should be one pace, की गती पाहिजे, प्रॉपर पेस पाहिजे. ज्यावेळेस तुम्ही सादरीकरण करणार आहात, ज्यावेळेस तुम्ही प्रेझेंटेशन करणार आहात, ॲट दॅट टाईम ब्रिंग पेस इन युअर performance, bring pace in your delivery. Control the timing of the proceeding, and when you speaking, at that time control the timing of the proceeding. And the last one, 10th one, apologize should there be a major flaw, mistake, or mishap. If there is some mistake, if there is some major flaws, or if there is some mishap, at that time you should apologize in front of the audience. Now, there are some prerequisite of comparing. That is, prerequisite means something that is required, की ज्या काही गरजेच्या गोष्टी आहेत त्या सांगितलेल्या आहेत. Comparing requires language fluency, clarity of thoughts, and confidence. That is, if you comparing any program, at that time you should have the fluency language, you should have the language fluency. You must be master in the three language, that is in your mother tongue, in national language, your national language, and also your international language. Means you must be master of the language. Then there should be clarity of thoughts, your thoughts should be clear, and there should be the confidence. Second one, a basic understanding of the nature and tone of the events is must. That is, basic understanding of the nature and tone of the event is must. That is, you should know, there should be basic understanding of the nature and tone of the event. You should know that event properly. You should know about each and everything of that event, and then you can compare it very well. की जर तुम्हाला तो काय इव्हेंट आहे तो जर प्रॉपरली माहिती असेल तरच तुम्ही चांगल्या पद्धतीने कॉम्पेरिंग करू शकता. अ सिम्पल बट डिग्निफाईड स्टाईल विथ वर्ड्स दॅट कम फ्रॉम द हार्ट, अँड यू मस्ट यूज सिम्पल बट डिग्निफाईड वर्ड्स. दॅर शुड बी द फ्रेजेस इन युअर speech, there should be some quotation in your speech, there should be some musical lines in your speech. Your speech should be simple but dignified. And the last one, ability to deal work with the technicians, event organizers, guest speakers. It is a part of his duty or profession. That is, ability to deal with technicians, that you should speak with the technicians. You should you are the controller of the microphone. So you should speak with the technicians who is controlling the microphone. Then you should speak with the event organizers. You should know the each and everything about that event, and you should speak the guest also, that is you should know the guest very well, that is from your introductory speech. The audience should know about the guest, audience should know about the details of the guest, and so you should have speech with the technician, event organizer and guest speakers. It is the part of his duty or profession. Now we see the essential things of comparing. Then we see that there are some insights for the MCs, that is which things have to do by the compare by the anchor, and we also see what is mean by the comparing, or what is the role of the compare. So there is one specimen gives in your textbook. You just read that sample of that comparing, you just read that script of that comparing, and then you should solve the brainstorming, you should solve the exercise which is given in your textbook. So we will see our next part in our next video. Thank you.